In the last video on my LS3 swapped 1969 Camaro, we just about finished up the massive project of installing mini tubs on this thing. Got the new Detroit Speed mini tubs fully welded in, laid down some 2K epoxy primer. I was about to call this project done when I ran out of welding gas and was unable to finish the last step of the project, which is welding in the package tray supports. Well, I got more welding gas now, and we are gonna get right to work on this thing. This is actually the end of the video. The rear end is in the car for the first time in 2 months, and it looks fantastic, but there is a lot of work between now and then, including almost burning this whole car to the ground. So let's start right there. Finishing laying down the epoxy primer and getting to work welding in those rear package tray supports. Jesus Christ. Okay, that was not very smart. Ah. Damn it. Well, that's about the closest I've ever come to losing a vehicle, which would really suck after all the work that we put in. Holy crap, that'll get your heart rate up a little bit. Headliner, or this trim piece anyways, is damaged because I guess it wasn't that smart to use the same stuff that I had masked off for the primer. You know, it's not exactly as good as welding paper. Probably should have taken the headliner down before starting this project, but damn it. Now how am I gonna match this material to whatever that is? Should I just take the headliner down? I should have done this at the start of this project. I was just trying to avoid it, but it's probably gonna take like 5 minutes. Well, hopefully we can get that fixed. Heck of a way to start the video. I'm not okay. Always wanted to put a working dome light in this car, so I know the wiring is over there. I guess now is as good of time as ever. Of course, hindsight, should never have been welding near paper like that. I don't know why I didn't take it out. It's been a long day. I just didn't even think about it, didn't even notice it. Trying to do too much in too little time. Could have cost me dearly, but you gotta try and stay calm. I always have fire extinguishers in the garage. I was able to just kind of pat it out, and I think we're good. So I've now removed the whole headliner, both the flip down visors, obviously, because they help hold it up. Hopefully this, which is also very flammable, by the way, this was fully on fire, had to kind of pat this out, is easy enough to fix and get rewrapped. Hopefully I can locate this material. Let's finish welding up these package trays, make these seat panel closeouts, and hopefully put this welder away for good, and then we can continue with, you know, Raptor liner and stuff. Let's keep going. No more fires tonight. It's too late for that. Well, I can't believe I'm saying this after over a month of picking away at this project, but I think we might be finally done with the welder and the grinder. I think the metalwork of my mini tub project is done. Well, with one tiny little exception. The rear seat now needs to be slightly modified to fit those rear mini tubs. I think probably in this area. Just a couple steps left here. But we were on step 57 out of 59. Basically modify the rear seat and we're done. Of course, there's still seam sealing to do, but the mini tubs are basically done. I don't want to touch a welder or a grinder for a month. I made those seat closeouts, formed them, put the plug welds in those, welded those in, ground the welds down, and then came through with a final coat of epoxy primer in the areas that we had to grind off, and then anything else extra I had did not only in here on any bare metal, but on the bottom side too. So this is curing up now, and up next we have to seam seal. So I got 4 whole cans of seam sealer, because there's a lot of joints here, but basically anywhere we see 2 pieces of metal that come together, all of this, we're gonna smooth all that out. This whole thing here, inside all the way around, whatever extra we have, if any, we'll just kind of smear all over the place. But yeah, as the name implies, we're going to seal up every single seam in this project that we just did to make sure that it is watertight, weather-tight, and make sure that we don't have anywhere that water or moisture or dirt or anything can get stuck. We've protected all the metal with a 2-part 2K epoxy primer. Now we need to make sure that stuff doesn't get in there. Then once that's done, we can do the last step, which is the truck bed coating or Raptor liner, which this car already has, obviously, right here, not only in the trunk, but also the entire underside is Raptor lined, but obviously we removed a lot of that when we cut the tubs out. Then again, whatever we have left, we'll just kind of spray in here, maybe another layer on the trunk. I've never sprayed Raptor liner before, but the instructions seem pretty easy. But right now I got a lot of seam sealing to do, so let's get after it. Well, it's no secret that my 1969 Camaro here is worth a pretty decent chunk of change. And a lot of you guys are always asking, how do you keep your finances straight to be able to afford some of these fun cars? Well, the most important thing is keeping your money straight, and I do that using Monarch. Monarch is a private, ad-free personal finance application that brings all of your accounts into one clean dashboard and allows you to easily keep track of all of your finances. It automatically tracks your net worth and allows you to stay financially aligned. No spreadsheet juggling required. Monarch uses AI-powered insights that explain spending increases, unusual transactions, or net worth changes. You don't need 20 notifications a day, and you certainly don't need to feel like keeping track of your spending is a full-time job. Let Monarch do the hard work for you. Keep a clear view of your fixed versus flexible spending and progress bars that are going to keep you honest. I've been a part of a really small local bank since I was just a little Chris Sullivan, but that's no problem with Monarch because they easily sync with over 13,000 of today's institutions. So whether you're looking to save money for an awesome project car or just pay down some debt, you're going to want to check out Monarch. You guys can use my code CS50 for 50% off. Use my link in the description. Start keeping better track of your finances today. You guys have no idea how good it just felt to cross that off the list. I have been working on this mini tub project for it's over 6 weeks now. I have to look back in the calendar and see when I started it, but it's April 1st today, and I just laid down the Raptor liner, which is the last step of the mini tub. I know technically we still got to modify the rear seat, but I don't think that that is going to take terribly long, and the big project is done. The reason that I put off doing a 9-inch and mini tubs for 4 years is finally done. All the metal work, the cutting and grinding. Oh, it's finally done. What a project. I'm gonna let this cure up overnight and then maybe actually another day or two. And then maybe we can finally peel off this tape and stuff that's been on here for over a month now. Hopefully clean up this garage, get our heads on straight, see how this stuff looks all cured up, and then we can finally get to bolting in that beautiful QA1 9-inch rear. Catch you guys then. Man, I haven't seen the paint on this thing in over a month. Finally got all of the weld paper off. Just gonna leave this surface protection on until I get the deck lid back on, but look at this OEM Plus, baby. That's what we're all about here. Tell me that that doesn't look factory. Better than factory. Freshly Raptor lined. Looks like the exact factory wheel tub, just bigger. You know, if you didn't know Camaros, you came in here, yep, that's a factory wheel tub. Hinge supports, looks totally factory. Everything is nice and clean. Raptor liner went down beautifully. I've never sprayed that before, but set the gun to like 50 PSI and just let it rip, you know? Did 2 light coats, good to go. Same thing in the wheel wells. Looks factory. Like I said, all of this was already Raptor line, so I just kind of blended it, came back. But yeah, we used 2 full cans, so it's on there. Nice and thick in all the crevices, right over all of the seam sealing I did. I bought 4 cans of seam sealer and I was able to do the whole thing with just over 1. I'm like halfway or a quarter of the way through the second one. So now I got a ton of seam sealer for the next project, but this thing is sealed up tight. So yeah, we're looking really good. Inside here, yeah, like I said, this is all Raptor liner from a previous restoration, so you can see the new stuff right there. I just kind of stopped because we already got it right here, but really just wanted to get the tubs and then, you know, anything else that we had. But excellent coverage. Looks really good, but it doesn't matter because this is all going to get covered with sound deadener and then carpet. And then the rear seat, which is what I'm working on right now. So I know I said I was going to leave the rear seat till later, but my OCD was bothering me that I crossed off Mini Tub, and technically we're not done until we modify the rear seat to fit the Mini Tub. Plus, I got a million things going on in the garage right now, and I'd love to stop tripping over these rear seats. Mercedes bumpers on the stand. You guys will be seeing that pretty soon if you haven't already. And the deck lid, I'd love to get that back on and just free up this whole corner of the garage. So yeah, got some more welding gas and gonna try and modify this rear seat frame according to Detroit Speed's instructions. We basically just need to move this area over, like cut and rebend these, and then a little tack weld here and there. So I've removed some of the hog rings, and I'm gonna heavily use the welding blanket and attempt to do this A, without catching anything on fire, and B, not removing the whole seat cover. But if it starts to get sketchy, I'll just remove the seat cover. Let's see if we can get these rear seats fit, get them out of the way, and let's get to work on the suspension. Get this thing hopefully back on the ground. Well, I can't believe it, but for real this time, the Detroit Speed Mini Tubs are 100% done. The fact that it was kind of half done was bothering me. Welder is put away for good. Both the rear seat back and seat bottom have been modified. Not too bad, just a little bit in the corners. The bottom really didn't need much at all. Then hog ringed it back together. Using my welding blanket, carefully managed to not catch anything on fire. So this seat is ready to go back in. But before I do that, I wanted to do two things. First of which is get the amp hooked back up, which used to be on these weird pedestal things. I just got it mounted on some double-sided tape on this little hump right now. I think I eventually want to add a subwoofer to this setup. It's got all these kicker speakers and then two down here in the kick panels, I think, but not really enough bass. But I think I'm going to need to add another amp and then figure out a place to put the sub. So let me know where you guys think that should go if anybody's got a sub in a first-gen Camaro. But we obviously got some stuff to take care of before then. But before I put the rear seat in, wanted to do that. And I want to get this sound deadening down. So of course I got the cheapest Amazon sound deadening I could find. I think this is 80 mil, same thickness stuff I put in the Lightning. I went with the QA1 brands. So I think I got enough to do, hopefully, you know, most of the rear trunk and hopefully all of the interior and maybe some up the side here. This car is loud and it's pretty loud in the interior and vibrates a lot. So hopefully the sound deadening will cut down on that a little bit. And then the centerpiece of this whole project, which is the QA1 9-inch rear end I've got here finally up on the bench, ready for assembly. First thing I need to do is put all the studs in that the Detroit Speed third member is going to bolt into in here. So I'm pulling those through one by one, just using some washers and a nut. Already got started on these two here. Then I was looking through the instructions to see what's next as far as backing plates are concerned. Came over here to my factory 10 bolt, started looking around, taking some measurements. This car already had Willwood disc brake set up, obviously on the rear. Here's my Willwood calipers, but I took some measurements back here. This backing plate is for a 10 bolt rear end and the bolt pattern is not the same. So I ordered what I think is the right backing plate for the Torino style or the new style Ford 9-inch. And then hopefully all of these components will just bolt off of this backing plate and bolt onto my new one. And then we can hopefully fully assemble this rear end. Got to rob these off of there. But while I wait for those backing plates to come in, I'm going to try to keep knocking out stuff on the interior. We'll get as much of this assembled as we can. Get those other things transferred over from the 10 bolt. Anything else we need, just keep the progress going. Alright, I don't even know when the last update was. A few days ago, a week ago, I don't know. I got 17 different projects going on, not including the CTSV outside, which hopefully you guys have seen that video already. But anyways, I got the rear seat back in, working on getting the headliner up with a dome light, which this car has never had under my ownership. Sound deadening is all done under there. Package tray and speakers are in. We'll talk about all that more in the next video, I think. The goal for this video is getting this beautiful QA1 rear end under this car so I can get it back on the ground for the first time since February. This thing has been up in the air since, what was that? The Daytona 500, so mid-February. Just an absolutely massive project, Mini Tubs and 9-inch, but we're getting kind of close. So right now I'm just hustling to get the rear end back in. Anyways, over here, most importantly, this here is a Kona Big Wave premium lager. Slightly less important, but also important, is the new backing plates showed up. So got these from Summit, obviously Willwood. So here's the old one that I got off the 10-bolt. And the only difference between the two, I obviously started assembling this one without you guys already. This one's just about ready to go back on. The only difference between these two is you see this bolt hole spacing right there is different from the 10-bolt. So this theoretically should just right on there. Don't worry, I tested it. Yeah, the bolt pattern looks right. So I think it's going to be good to go. So that will allow us to do that. And we can get the seals in, get the axles in, axle retainer clips, yada, yada, yada. And we can dump this massive third member in there. Already got my gasket ready to go. So rear end assembly continues. Let's keep going. Well, we almost did it. The 9-inch is almost ready to go into the 69, finally. But I ran into yet another compatibility issue, which I probably should have foreseen and ordered parts a long time ago. But got the new backing plates on, got the axles in, got the third member in, the beautiful DSE third member, got my 4-link brackets transferred over from the 10-bolt. You guys saw in the B-roll, I then tried to slide on the rotor and it ran into the caliper mounting bracket. So I called up Willwood, sent them a few pictures. Their technical support was actually very, very helpful. And they were able to tell me that I got the right backing plates, but that I need new rotors, new caliper spacers. Oh yeah, and the axle retainer brackets or whatever that are kind of a pain to get to in here. Needed all new stuff. So like $800 worth of stuff, but it is what it is. I probably should have known that Willwood caliper components from a 10-bolt Chevy product to a Ford 9-inch product are not going to swap all right over. But the good news is I got the correct backing plates on there now, so we don't have to take apart all the axle again. Hopefully I can just pop on the new rotors, decide how important it is to swap out the retainer thing there. Then last night I was looking through my old lug piles, found some, what are these, like 1/2 inch by 20. That's the new thread on these QA1 axles. So I was not going to be able to reuse my old lugs, but these lugs are extremely long. So I think for the time being, I'm going to slice off the end of this, and then we'll just run these as open-ended for now. Again, the goal is still to get the rear end under the car and hopefully get this thing on the ground just so I can see it on the ground, keep my motivation up. Which means bolting on my existing wheels, which the offset is going to be completely wrong because this is a narrowed rear end now. Seeing if it fits, if not, maybe grabbing some spacers. I've got a bunch of them. But I think once this is all assembled, I'm going to get it off the jack stands and hopefully roll it under the car the exact same way I rolled out the 10 bolt, bolt it all up, and then we'll basically lift this into the car using a jack. Fuel tank is back up, fuel lines hooked up, wiring, sending unit, all that good stuff. We're ready to get this thing in. So FedEx should be here any minute with hopefully all of the correct Willwood components that I need to finish this thing. Let's get her done. No more one tire fire. Torque the spec. Ooh. Give me that. Yes, we've got a rear end. Woohoo! All right, finally got a rear end back in this thing. Looks like when you see one of those lifted Super Duties going down the road or diesel trucks where they put the fender flares on and then keep the stock wheels. Looks like we skipped leg day, boys. But just a testament to the Mini Tubs. I can't remember if this rear end is like 3 inches more narrow or 3 or 4 inches more narrow than the factory. We still have even more clearance on the inside, on the inner tubs there. Like if you guys remember the old setup, it was basically, these 285s were basically touching. So not only do we have more room this way, but look at that gap. We can get our whole fist in there. Just gobs and gobs of room. Like, you know, throwing a hot dog down a hallway. Which means, I probably should have done this a while ago, but we need to order some like 12 or 13 inch wide wheels to absolutely put some steamrollers on this thing. So there's still brake lines to figure out. I gotta see if my exhaust is still gonna fit or if it's gonna have to be modified with that massive center section. I have to see if my drive shaft is gonna fit or if that's gonna need to be cut and modified, or who knows. And then that's not even putting the deck lid on, complete interior, but I might just have to push this thing out, get it on the ground for the first time in over 2 months now, and see how it looks. Oh, you guys might just have to take my word for it. Well, for the first time in over 2 months, my 69 Camaro is back on all fours. The Mini Tub project is an absolutely massive undertaking, and it took me a long time just kind of picking away at it, you know, 15 minutes here, an hour there, 2 hours there, working on other projects, not touching it for a week. It's just the way it goes when you still work a full-time job and have a fleet of cars that you're working on. But 2 months later, this thing is back on all four tires with an absolutely insane rear end setup from QA1. If you guys are looking for an awesome 9-inch setup for your first gen Camaro or Firebird, standard width or narrowed width like this one, plus some mini tubs, definitely check out QA1. Was hoping to push this thing out and see it in the daylight and hopefully get a thumbnail for you guys, but considering how hard it is to move by myself, I don't really want to struggle pushing it back into the garage, you know, up a slope if I don't absolutely have to. So I think what I'll do is, there's not that much work left. I say that, there's still a decent amount left to get this thing moving under its own power. Got a ton done in this video. I said I wasn't gonna film that much, but was just starting to edit this thing last night. It's like over 150 clips or something like that, but there's just a lot of work to do. I'm confident the next one will have this thing running and driving, and thank goodness, because it's late April now and I'm ready to get this thing on the road. Thank you guys as always for watching. I will catch you in the next one.